We are in the middle of February and I brought back a customer's tree to repot. This is a very large Chinese quince, which is the Sidonia sinensis, pseudosinensis or whatever they're called by various names, and it's got this lovely trunk, lovely bark. Look at the nebari on this. These are typical Japanese imports, so it's been in this country for quite a while. I didn't sell this tree to the customer, but this is from another dealer, but it's the customer's tree, and I've been commissioned to look after this tree, and I feel that it is due for a repot. The pot in which it was planted seems to be a bit small. I can see the original outline of the pot. You see, if you're a detective, you can tell the shape. Look at that, the moss here. That means it was in a rectangular pot, even smaller, and it was put in an oval pot. And I feel that the oval pot could be about this large. So I'm going to ask Steve to go and find a suitable pot. Now, I don't know when it was last repotted, but we usually prod the tree to see how pot-bound the root is. Now you must be asking me about the timing of repotting. Quince flower very early, so this is going to be flowering in about a month's time. Many people are afraid of repotting just before it flowers, but I feel that if you repot it after flowering, which is late March, early April, it may be getting a bit too late. So I rather do it now, keep it in our greenhouse, or return it to the customer in 3 or 4 weeks' time. So as you can see, all the buds are sprouting. This hasn't been grown in the greenhouse. This has been grown outdoors all the time, but they're very early. So I will have a quick prod to see how pot bound it is. It is pretty solid. And the object of most repotting is to get air into the roots, as they normally term the expression. And it doesn't feel that pot bound, but certainly around the edges, it is pretty pot bound. So when our boys are going to start teasing a bit, we will then discover how pot bound it really is. So I can see that they've used fine akadama and a bit organic. I usually feel that deciduous trees, and especially flowering trees, they benefit from more organic material and ordinary loam, not too much sand in it. I don't think they benefit from using sand. So fine akadama may be okay. So certainly our deciduous mix would be okay. I'm still fiddling around. The roots of most trees tend to accumulate at the extremities of the pot for some reason. They always reach out to the pot and it can't go any further, then it starts getting woven into a blanket or a basket type shape. So I'm still prodding away gently to explore the root. The center certainly isn't pot bound, but the extremities are pot bound. So I feel it does need a bit of repotting because it's solid. It's absolutely solid as a mass. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go around and underneath and loosen it and let air into this. In a dilemma, we can't decide what pot to put it in. So we thought we would put it in one of these drum pots to give the tree a chance to grow better. But that pot is much too large for it. So, and we tried another oval there, but even that is much too large. See, it's much, much too large. So we are going to just tease some roots and put it back in the original pot. So that is the decision. And after flowering, we're going to trim the trees back because all these laterals, which have grown 4 to 6 inches long, we're going to cut it back to there. I don't want to prune it now because if I prune it now, I will sacrifice the flowers. I won't get any flowers to enjoy this year. So immediately after flowering, we're going to prune it at least 4 inches back so that it becomes tighter and to improve the ramification. So when one does repotting, you have to think of all these things. Think ahead of what you're doing immediately so that you can see the future development of the tree in a much broader perspective. So there we go. So we've decided to use the original pot again, but we're going to cut about an inch all around the pot and fill it with good new soil. Let me show you how much we've teased. And we were surprised that it wasn't that pot bound, so we've only taken a little bit of root off, but underneath that you can see it's like a mat, absolutely like a mat, like a straw hat almost. So you can see if I tease away a little bit how the roots come away. So I'll get someone to tease there, take the old mesh out, pull it out. And then we just tease away. Just tease it with a hook, it'll come out. Just tease it. It'll be cut anyway, so you don't need to be that gentle. So if you hold the camera for me, I'll just show you how much I'm going to cut from there. So all this can be cut off, the extremities, and it'll grow. They're nice fibrous roots. We can certainly get more than this off. Nice drainage layer there. So the previous repot was done very well. See, like that. Don't be afraid to take the extremities off it. So let me show you the previous person who did the repotting did a very good job. There's a lot of good pumice underneath mixed with fine akadama, and this is the amount of root we're going to cut off. Quite safe to do this. Quite safe. Don't be afraid to do this. And as I mentioned in some of my other videos, I don't believe in washing all the soil off. There are some people, especially in Japan, they like to wash every grain of soil off when they do repotting. No, not me. I do not advocate that. I'm a bit cautious. You may do it, I'm not saying it kill the tree, but it is dangerous to do it. I noticed that there's a lot of mesh from previous repots, so some people, they keep putting it into a bigger and bigger pot without taking the old roots off. That catches up on you. You can't do that. Get all the old mesh off. So that's as much as we'll do. We can turn it around, and the next video will be showing us putting it back in the original. Let me just get some there. One or two thick roots. I will cut the thick roots off. The thick roots are not important. We need to keep the fine feeder roots. We are not going to put a bottom layer, but we are going to use medium grain akadama, about ½ an inch at the bottom, little mound in the middle, mound it in the middle, and then we'll grind it down. There you go. Okay, that's fine. And then we'll use our standard mix after that. So this requires strength because this is a big tree. People who are not strong, I can't do that now, but Josh can. So grind it down. Okay, then the height is perfect. Okay, now put some of our standard mix in. This is our standard mix, which is 30% akadama, 30% volcanic grit, and 30% organic. So that's it. So we will just pour it in. So let me just move. So the rest is putting chopsticks. Let's show it. So we haven't cut much off. One or two thick roots were cut off. There you go. So the tree is in good health. The good old chopsticks are very useful. Maybe the thicker chopstick is better. Amazing how much. Use the back so it's here. So this is what we call serious repotting. So we decided to use the original pot after all. So we will show you the tree after we fill the soil. So we're just going to spend a few minutes prodding the soil with the chopstick to fill every crevice. And we will then water the tree in. We finished this in barely half an hour. So we've got 4 people working on it. So you must be wondering what Steve is doing with this big masonry drill. He is drilling holes into the center of the root ball where we couldn't tease the roots out. So we're going to drill holes, quite a few holes, so that we can let air in. And this, believe it or not, is a method used by tree surgeons and tree growers. I believe in Kew Gardens they also have a system where they drill holes in the ground and inject air, compressed air, into the soil just to aerate the roots. So what we're doing is not exactly stupid. When I used to do it, everyone used to laugh at me, but believe it or not, it works. So wherever you find a space, we're going to go around and drill a hole, maybe there. So rather than bare root the tree, we are just letting air in different places. Nothing lost. Even if you damage 1 or 2 roots, it doesn't matter. It won't kill the tree. So that's what we're doing all around the tree. And then after that, I'm not going to show you what we're going to do after that. It's just putting the water with a watering can because we have now completed the tree. So that is the tree back in its original pot. And after flowering, we will prune it back. But we don't do anything more at this stage. So all the buds are beginning to burst and the tree is in good condition, so we put it away. We will protect it in the greenhouse for now. So that is that repotting done.